Good morning to some of you. Some of you, good morning. And I don't know what time is it. I've been reading this morning. I got back in my Bible and I just wanted to come and share some stuff with you. I know last night I closed with seeing how the prosecutors are trying to start manipulating, using media manipulation and social media manipulation or whatever as they trying to build a case against P. Diddy and Jay Z. It's so much going on right now, y'all. I mean, it's just so much going on. And I know I have here in my title, Hell Bust Wide Open. And meaning that if you're not righteous and you're not in have a relationship with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you wouldn't understand what that means by hell bust wide open, because God will give you the wisdom and the sight to see things and to see it very clearly. Like, you can see how this music in Hollywood have been destroying, has been detestable, and has been destroying our children. And that has been destroying a community. That has been destroying families. That has been destroying social, just destroying the society in general. At one time, when God give us things, right, it's to help us use it for our own good. Like, first of all, nothing's wrong. I wouldn't say anything is wrong with social media when you're talking about things to bring awareness about health issues, about some things that may be going on with our government, hearing the voice of the people. Also, like, for educational, just say educational purposes, and sometimes even entertainment. Things for the entertain um, people. We have to have things to entertain us all through life. We had to have things to entertain us, and God gave us the wisdom and the knowledge of how to use things. And God always said from the beginning, when He gave us this, when He brought us here, you know, and created us as a man and a woman, which is Eve and Adam and Eve. And of course, Adam, of course, came first. And we know from the book of Genesis how it all starts. And then they have children, and then there's two brothers, and then the brothers go to, but they have more children after that anyway. But I'm just saying, like, how things, repeats itself, how things travel through lineage and things that just been here through history, and some things that just gonna, you know, like in life, like you want to figure out, why is this happening? What is this? What is so, you know, why is there murder? So much killing, so much people um, dying so senselessly. Why is the world so in chaos? Everywhere you turn on the news, you hearing about all about this mayhem, all these social ills, and why is this going on? And you questioning things, why? And the best way I can tell you why is because this is already have been here. All of this that you seeing in this world today has always been here. And God already had made it clear to us. God has been very clear. Eat from this tree and stay away from that one. Eat the good things in life. Be fruitful and multiply means multiply good fruit, means life. Continue to produce good citizens in the world, raise up our sons and daughters as leaders in the world, positive leaders. And leaders don't necessarily mean that they have to be the leader like the president of the United States, you would say, or anything that has to do with government or anything else like that. Just a leader as far as like your sons and daughters learn of me first, and he said that, when Christ said, you bring these children unto me, a lot of people turned away from bringing their kids to Christ when they babies, introducing them to Christ in the beginning of their life, of pouring that life into them, and also demonstrating certain things in life to them. There is some things in this world that you're supposed to protect your children from. And I know we just get caught up in some things, and it happens. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But this book right here, which is the Bible, God gave you everything you need to protect yourself from putting yourself in hell. Just protect you from going to hell with some things that you worship and idolize, and the things you will do to destroy your sister or your brother. It said it from the beginning. Certain things we got to stay away from when it comes to serving the kingdom. And when you want to serve God, the music industry, celebrity lifestyle, the life of the rich and famous is not it. You can't serve two masters. You have to throw away that stuff. You have to give up those things of the world. And that means the things of the world is like wanting to be famous, wanting to have some title and be in control over other people's lives, wanting to have power. If you want power and you want to control other people and you love money, you are not going to make it into the kingdom with God. It's like a camel going through an eye, and it says a camel going through the eye, camel going through the eye of a needle. Whether you want to believe it or not, right here on earth where we're at, because did I say the Father's Prayer when I started this conversation? No, I did not. So I'm going to say it. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Okay, let me go back into what I was saying. Like, everything that we dealing with right here now on earth is in heaven. And the thing is that you got to pick a side, because either you're going to want to be with on the righteous side with God, or you want to go run with the devil. Are you going to want to lose your soul to this world over these detestable things? And that things that God already made it clear to us. Those who love anything of riches of the world cannot follow him. Anybody that want to stay around and hang around mommy and daddy until after they die, then you want to come and follow Christ. Like some people, they don't want to have a relationship with God until they're in trouble, or when or something tragic happened in their life, and something tragic happen or sickness come upon them, then all of a sudden they want to know, oh God, save me, oh God, heal my body, oh Lord, if you heal me, Lord, I'll do this for you, Lord, I'll do that for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, people will use God like try to con God and play God. God knows where you at. You know what I'm saying? And he got you there for a reason. You can't play with God. God knows who loves him, and God knows who hates him. And God knows because he created you. He created you. He didn't make you, he made it you perfect just the way you are for him. Nobody else but the world, not the world, but for him. He fashioned you in perfection for him. These women doing all of this crazy stuff to their bodies, giving themselves breast implants, and then just getting into, just to make themselves look more, attractive and beautiful. And people putting all kind of stuff, doing using all kind of stuff to try to feel that God didn't make them perfect. Now, some people, and I'm gonna say this, I'm not talking about people that a woman had breast cancer and she had to get some of her breasts removed and she needs to feel confident in herself and she has to feel, when you're walking around and you had something and then it's gone, you're going to miss that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You're going to miss that. So there's nothing wrong with something prosthetic if it's needed. If it's needed. Don't get me wrong that I'm not saying it's not okay to have certain cosmetic work done to your body or some kind of cosmetic surgery. I'm not saying it like that, but people have used it in not a good way for the kingdom. They used it for evil. To say that you need more breasts when God gave you just enough, and that's all you need. But some women gotta go and oversize their breasts. The same thing with your behind. Some women have, like me, I don't have a real high behind. I'm just call it out as it is. I'm talking about me, right? But see, I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't bother me that I don't have a big booty. I don't have an apple booty, you would say, or whatever. My butt, it ain't flat, 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 but I would say, it's just enough. Everything is just perfect because that's the way God made it. And I know how to emphasize. I know how to work with it, with what I have. I hope somebody is following me here. I hope somebody is following me here, but I'm just saying, I'm glad to have what I have because everything that was given to me was from God. Everything that God has given me, from the way He dressed me in my flesh, the skin I'm in, all of that is all come from Him. From the Creator, how He created me, and that's where God wants our mind to grow at in Christ. So back to what I'm saying about hell bust wide open. You see that face over there? That Clyde Davis face? And God works in mysterious, I wouldn't say mysterious ways, but God used his people. And God give us all different, ways of helping his people, those out there in the wilderness that are lost out here, you young people, you coming up. And I know a lot of you may not agree with a lot of stuff I said because you just get humming up in the world. You just feel like babies. You still, trying to, explore with this world that you're living in. People like me, who's almost close to 60, I'm more closer to 60 than I am 50. In another year or so, I'll be 60. Okay. I may look young in the face. In some places, I may look a lot younger than what I am, but I'm 60 because of the things that I lived through and I experienced, and the things that I have seen. When I start talking, you could tell I'm reaching that age. But see, I didn't put my body through all of that other stuff, that stress and that, and going to make myself look this way or that way you know, for people to get like me or whatever. I fix myself up. Don't get me wrong. God didn't tell you to go out here looking like a ragamuffin. He'll tell you, you gotta, um, fix yourself up. When you walking in the light with Jesus Christ, you ain't. Well, that's another story. But let's get back into this hell bus wide open. I'll get all into it. I'm all over the place. But I just want to get everything out. Like, you see that face right there. You see that face right there. You see Barry White. I was a Barry White. I grew up. I'm a Barry White child. Okay, I'm gonna just say Barry White. He's like one of my other fathers in the gospel, in the fathers in the music world, and I always enjoyed them. I listened to Barry White. I grew up with Barry White in my household. I'm going back. I grew up with the Temptations, Barry White, Johnny Taylor. Listening to Marvin Gaye, the Temptations, the whole Motown, Smokey Robinson, the Supremes, the Jackson Five, before it went from the Jackson 5 into Michael Jackson. And then, and the list goes on and on. If you go back to some of the music that we were listening to back in the 70s up into the 80s, because I'm born Generation X baby. So, of course, my birthday was like in the 67. I'm more closer to the 70s. I was like 67. So, but still, you captured some things, some moments of your life, things you did, and things you can remember from your youth. I remember church being on Sunday. I remember or supermarkets, department stores, before Amazon came along and all of this other stuff, all this technology or whatever now that people shop on Sunday. They'll pick up and shop on Sunday on Amazon or whatever. They could do that all throughout the week. But they know it's hard for people to make that sacrifice on a Sunday just to keep their house quiet. No succulent music, no doing anything of out in the world. That day is just totally spent just worshiping and in church and come home and get ready for the week and doing your chore as I was being raised up. But people don't do that with their kids. I don't know if they do that with their kids today. I seen parents coming to church, leaving the kids at home, but they in church and talking about they don't want to go. I don't force them to go, but it's not about you. You know what I'm saying? What you doing is not about you. I'm taking your kids to church. You're supposed to be serving the Lord. This is the things he said. Bring these children unto me. Bring up a child on the right way he or she should go. And when they get old, it won't depart from them. And then on top of that, how to give your kids, help your kids to understand these are the things that are ahead of their life. Like things that you bringing up in the world, and there is a good, the world is not all that safe, and to fight off some of the things that's going to come against your children in this world, knowing the word of God, being in them, and directing them to the to biblical principles and biblical values and biblical, that stuff will keep them surviving from the evils in this world, to protect them from the evils in this world, and they don't fall into all of this craziness. And even if they do get into some mess, God is going to bring them out. Pure as gold. Pure as gold. And the purest one in this fire right now, with what's going down with these celebrities in Hollywood, where hell is. Hollywood and the music industry ain't nothing but the devil's playground. Okay? These young people, they scout out these young girls, these young men, and they do the most disgusting things to destroy them in this music industry. And the music, to get your music is a spirit. It's a spirit. So that's why you got to be careful to what type of music you're listening to. What's going into your ears. And where it's taking you. There is certain music I listen to, and I swear to you, it makes me feel. Some music can make you feel. Whew, some music make you feel loved. Some music out there just make you. It's demonic, and it will cause you to do some wicked, evil things. Like it used to be a song out there by the Beatles, and it was the Beatles when the Beatles were hot back in the '60s. I think it was the '60s or the '70s, whatever year that was. But just knowing the story, and you could do some research on it for yourself. You don't have to go by me, what I'm telling you, because what I could be telling you, you might get something different from it. I don't know, but you could go check it for yourself. It's called, the movie is the Beatles, and then it was a song made by the Beatles um, called Helter Skelter, where it takes your mind into a place of of making human sacrifice, like sacrificing humans and doing some cannibalist stuff. Okay, drinking human blood, or you know, even when people murder, you got blood on your hands. You got that person's stain on your hands. When you take somebody's life and you murder somebody, that spirit is going to haunt you. You understand what I'm saying? You are full of these different spirits. That spirit is not going to let you live in peace. There is no rest for the wicked. There's no rest. So as soon as Angela Stone succumbed to her mysterious death. After the woman came on TV and exposed, before the year ended, which was 2024, was the year of exposure, and like 2024, the year 2023 was the year of complete. 2024 was going to be the year of the exposure, right? And notice by the end of 2024, before her untimely death, she exposed UMG, University, University, I think music, whatever, MNG, group. Okay, whatever UMG, whatever those acrobats stand for. I know it's Universal something, but anyway. And these names of these places, like these record companies, Hollywood, all of them change. They names change throughout the year when they under some lot of scandal. They break down, then they come try to rebuild under a new name. So a lot of times people don't know all the scandal behind all of that either. This stuff been going on forever, and these music companies, it's been going on for, and not only just to black celebrities, but it has also been white celebrities, not only to black small children, but it has also happened to white children. Anybody that take any place in Hollywood, somehow or the other. And a lot of times these small artists out here who really not no real big on the billboards and really taking all the Grammys and the Oscars and you name it, it's sacrifices that these people have to make to these record companies and to Hollywood for these for the hype, for the promotion. Let's go back to R. Kelly, who I'm 100% for. Okay, when R. Kelly was coming up in this industry, was already grooming Aaliyah. They was already grooming Aaliyah to be his underage wife. They was already grooming Aaliyah from the age she was at the time. Now she would have been like close to 50. She would have been good. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at it like as we grow women, we are more into older men. We definitely are. If you look at it, we always want our men to have some kind of wisdom, some type of, masculinity, some kind of sort of kind of like in a place where he got some kind of status. Women gravitate to because it makes you feel most of all protected. Okay, protected. So anyway, Hollywood, the music company, was already grooming Aaliyah. Everything that went on between, but one thing, R. Kelly was innocent as he can be, just as innocent as Aaliyah was. And I'm being very transparent with you. And I'm being very, like, giving it to you the way it really is. Like I said, I'll be 60 years old. So I've been in this world and I've been in this world. And like I said, I've been around R. Kelly's music and I've been running behind his music and admiring his music for many, many years from the time this young man started in his career. That's why I say you can't say you a real true fan until you really, really gonna walk behind somebody. You're gonna really admire. Put it this way: I'm not worshiping R. Kelly. Let's not get it twisted here. I don't worship any idols. Okay, but what I'm saying here is, as I'm going into the man behind the music, the man behind the music is a soul. And the man behind the music, I'm just telling you, like, where his mindset was and what was being happening to him from the time he came into the business. From the time R. Kelly came into the business, they already had this set up for him. This is what I'm saying. Aaliyah was already set up, and so was his gift. They seen this talented young man out on the street. Somebody was watching him for a long time out there in Chicago. and do little gigs, him and his little boys or whatever people he had as a little group when he was coming up, and they snatched him off the street from his little group and stuff like that, and introduced him to some people he could get into the music business with. Oh, believe me, they watched R. Kelly for a while. The scouters that goes out there and they scout, talent. They scout talent and everything they do it, and then they found another way to do it. Now people just now compete in these contests, and R. Kelly did that when he was young too. He competed in a lot of contests when he was a young boy. Things he did with his friends, dancing and performing and all that other stuff, singing, maybe singing some songs by some other, artists out there. I'm just saying, I'm talking about the man behind the music. I'm talking about Robert. Okay? He was a young man. And all this stuff about they poisoning you with, he was a pedophile and he was with Aaliyah and she was only 13, but nobody is talking that shit about Elvis. Notice that nobody else is saying nothing about Elvis. The people that come on the internet that tell all of these, put all his comments in the comment section about him and saying things about him. But God is listening. God is listening. So it's always very, very, you got to be very careful how you sit up in here and you destroying somebody's character and saying horrible things and then using God's name in it as you do it, because God ain't about none of that mess about what somebody did in their past. Or if something happened and you heard about it and you going around, slandering, jumping on the bandwagon, just slandering somebody, like God ain't listening from the things that come out of your mouth. And believe it or not, whether I know you or not, is who God knows and what God hears. So that's why I always say I cast those demons back to the pits of hell where they came from. Get it out of my ear. Get it away from me. Whatever you saying about against R. Kelly, let it go on you. He says he will condemn any evil tongue that speaks against you. And let it be condemned. I used to have a whole lot of them come up on my page and they want to attack me about R. Kelly, because that's how much God is in his life. That's how I know God is on this man's life. Because as soon as you want to sit there, they want to call him out as a predator, a pedophile, and all this other stuff. I'm not saying that R. Kelly may or may not have had sex with her. I don't know. I wasn't there. If it did happen, I wasn't there, is what I'm saying. And I say that about mostly when you want to, I said I don't worship any idols. But if I didn't see something, I can't jump on the bandwagon with you and say this is what it is. This is exactly what has happened. But if my spirit, and then sometimes things just tell you in your spirit, you can feel it in your spirit if something ain't right. And something is right. I never said that he didn't or he did. I don't know, is what I'm saying. But that doesn't give me a reason to hate him because people are putting those rumors out about him. That doesn't give me a reason to jump on the bandwagon and wish all these harmful, evil things on him because of what other people are saying. I said, be careful what you speak on somebody, because it's going to turn around and hit you, because that's a child of God. That you calling him out on saying these horrible things about that man. That man been suffering. It didn't even take, these 5 years was nothing to R. Kelly. He could eat those 30 years of the 30 years and more through his career of the things that people have done to that man. And how he survived, how he's still living, how he's still breathing. That he didn't in one day just go and take his life like Satan wanted him to do. Of all the wicked things that people have done to that man, how they destroyed his children, how they destroyed his family. But he's still breathing. Ain't nobody got him up but God. And I ain't saying I'm no worshiper. I don't worship Satan. And I ain't about to do Satan's work for him. My soul belongs to God. My heart belongs to God. And what I do out here on these YouTube streets is that I'm here to be an ambassador for Christ and to help God's people, whether they are a celebrity or they just a nobody out on the street. Because the real devil that is running and got these bodies that's being laid down, the lives of these innocent blood that's being shed on the lives of black men and women in the industry is this man right here, Clyde Davis. That's the devil. He's real. Clyde Davis, Epstein, and the other one, the old one supposed to be in there, I don't even know. Those three run the Hollywood and the music industry. Capitalizing off of black lives. People need to wake up and see the truth is in the word of God. He's real. Satan is real. Hell has bust wide open. And I'm going to let some people share some story behind what happened to Barry White's life. And these are the ancestors who are speaking from the grave. Blood, a lot of bodies, souls are in that man. A lot. Harvey Weinstein. That's the one I was looking for. Now they throwing Oprah in it. Remember, she was supposed to be buddy-buddy with Harvey Weinstein, right? And some of these people didn't understand what assignment they was on. These people threatening them, intimidating them. But, they got them. Oh, I could kill you. I could do it. They make these people, how far are you willing to go in your career to have blase this? All of these things. If you go to your Bible and go to the book of Matthew, when Satan tried to get Jesus, even tempt Jesus, if you are God, throw yourself down from this so and so and so. Okay? It's so much to unpack here. That's why I told you before I started this, it's a whole lot going on here. It's a whole lot. All this is busting open now. Now all of a sudden Oprah's name is in it. Because the real devils that's been controlling this music industry, from Hollywood to the music industry, and it's not only just been happening to black people. Let me be clear. But right now, I'm seeing it now happening to black people who have been the rich and famous. And they taking them down. And they trying to put it all, make it look like they've been running this enterprise. Sex trafficking with these kids that's going missing, these children that's being pulled into the middle and in some underground sex trafficking enterprise business going on somewhere. That shit been going on. Gary, what's his name again? Coleman. What's the other little young boy name? That Todd Bridges. What's the other little girl name? Barrymore. Drew Barrymore. Oh God, it's just a list of them. The other girl used to play on that movie, that show that used to come on called Family Ties. Look at what happened to these children. And the one that their parents was in the story about the little girl that was, I never forget, little white girl, Jean Bonnet, how they was grooming her. And look what happened to the little girl. Something happened. They used to put on all these little pageant shows and everything. Her family used to have all in these little, how some of these parents and they sell their kids out to these enterprises and into these kind of, this stuff been going on. It's in the Bible. It's been going on in that world there too, but done in a different kind of way. People were selling their kids so that they can eat. It goes on all over the world. It's in Japan. It's in, you ain't gonna never stop sex trafficking with children. And I'm just gonna keep it real. All of this stuff is tied up. Hollywood, the music industry, all tied up with everything that is of Satan. Just put it that way. The things people will sell their souls to do just so that they can have a life of fame and for the riches of the world. What is the profit of man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? What is a man to gain the world and lose his soul? When you love money and you love this world and you love the things of it, God said, love none of this stuff more than you love him, the kingdom. Do no evil, speak no evil, whatever. And I know sometimes we all human, we gotta get upset, But I'm just saying the way these people are doing things. If God died today or tomorrow, I know I'm with him. I'm with the Lord because I'm here fighting for Jesus, fighting for righteousness, and seeing souls that are on the line and souls that are being swallowed up whole and going to hell. And hell is growing wider and wider and wider. And that's why when I look at a church sometimes and I see the church is flowing with people, I know that's not no real. I'm sorry. When you see the real movement of Christ in a church and everything is operating just the way God wanted to be, is those churches that just stay traditional, that didn't grow out to be all big with the world and bringing all of that, celebrity stuff up in their church and doing all of this stuff. Because then you know what was going on behind all of that. I was surprised to see Jamal Bryant sitting over there at Angie Stone's funeral in the front row. Jamal Bryant. Yeah, they only show up when you're dead. I'm going to get into that conversation probably some more later on this afternoon, but I got to get ready to go. But I just wanted to come and talk to you about this one here. Clive Davis and the ancestors that are going on. May his soul is not resting, y'all, because for him to pop up while all of this is going on around Diddy, and now they trying to use Kanye, to what they would call bait, or to do something to get Jay-Z to come and fall, for Jay-Z to go for the bait. Because what they doing is they got Kanye saying the most hurtful and nastiest and ugliest things about Jay-Z in the public. And talking, and got so low that he's attacking Jay-Z kids, calling them the R word. Saying things about the kids now, why some people should consider having artificial insemination because of kids like Jay-Z that came out the R word. How low can you go? And we all know it's to bait Jay-Z, is to put the attention on Jay, while you got your attention on him, just like they use 50 for Diddy. You see how the devil play with you, how he want to play with you to be against your brother? How he want to turn you on your brother, for your brother to bring your brother in on all of this. This is the devil's playground, y'all. This is what they're doing. Yay, he got an album out called The Bully. He just released a new album called The Bully. Okay? Yeah. He's been trying to get attention around him a lot. And a lot of times when you're around his attention and everything, he's saying things about Diddy and he's saying things about Jay-Z. He ain't on Diddy as much as he on Jay-Z right now. Okay? But they had to use 50 to draw attention to the public to go against Diddy. Look how the devil play that game, because it's all coming from the top guy. We gotta silence them. We gotta get attention to to you so that the people can start listening to you, yay. Because you can how to be very controversial out there. You know how to do this. And that's how we gonna draw him in and get him to start talking and saying things and then all of a sudden we gonna start because now they trying to come for Daisy now. That's why last night before I closed, I said I went to the book of Daniel's chapter 3 about King Nebuchadnezzar, who wanted these three Hebrew boys, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, because he built this real gold, some kind of statue, and he wanted these boys. He wanted everybody, when you hear the music and all this other stuff, when he making his arrival, him as the king, and he come in the presence of the people, everybody is supposed to bow down. And these three Hebrew boys were like, no, we don't worship no other God but our God. And so when these three, you could go read it. I gave you the book of Daniel's, chapter 3. I ain't going to read it here with you, but I'm going to give you the book of Daniel's, chapter 3, about Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, and King Nebuchadnezzar. Right? Nizar. So the thing is that he wanted these boys to bow down to his statues, his golden image of him being in power and sitting on whatever play throne he on, whatever. So the three Hebrew boys was like, we're not doing it. We not gonna do it. And put us in the fire and furnace. And our God will come out and he will save us from the fiery furnace. And they said it to him. They like, we not doing it. Even if you threaten to put us in the fire, put us in the fire. We ain't doing it. Point blank, period. So what he do is he turned the heat up a little hotter. You know what I'm saying? Just like how they trying to turn the heat up on R. Kelly. With bringing his name around all of this stuff. Trying to put him in the fire. It didn't work. R. Kelly was still able to get his voice and his word out there through music, through the prison doors, in the prison walls. How did he do that? And then they got Charleston White sitting on a platform saying R. Kelly shouldn't be able to allowed to have blah blah blah. They know how to they know how to play on these people because they got something on everybody from the industry. Everybody that had anything to do with that industry, except for the little war boys like myself. The fans that just like listening to the music. See, I'm that type of fan. I don't know about some other fans, but I know me. I'm just I'm just into the music. Okay. And I care about the soul too behind the music, which is R. Kelly. I care about his soul. I'm into the music and I care about R. Kelly's soul. And I know God is in it. And I know God got R. Kelly because of the prayers of the prayer warriors out here, the queens that rock with him, that was rocking with him, even from the time he came out and did his first album by himself. Not with Public Enemy, but by himself as R. Kelly. Been rocking with him from there when it was the New Jack Swing he came with. Summer bunnies drive me crazy. But I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I see all this that's going on and how Clyde Davis and Harvey Weinstein and what's his name is not dead. I don't think he's dead. Epstein, I don't think he's dead. He's alive and breathing. He's alive and breathing. It's a lot of stuff going on, and everything is God is removing the veil. Hell has bust wide open. Why are they afraid to come for Harvey Weinstein, Epstein? Because I don't know about Harvey Weinstein being in jail. They say he in jail, but I don't know. It's been quiet in the public, right? You notice it's been quiet? Nothing around him, no news popping up about him. Well, is the old man still alive? Is the old man okay? Is the old man, is the devil still up? You know what I'm saying? The devil don't die. Not like how we want him to die. When you love power, you a narcissist, and you love power, you love money, and you love... You don't die. People don't sleep. There's no rest for the wicked. He's always roaming around looking for who he gonna have next. to follow him to his chambers. Why else would they lock up men like R. Kelly and P. Diddy and this other one, when these two boys, these two men went and killed and gunned down and bullet down and slain that little girl and that little 5 year old and her father. I don't know what the father may have been involved with. I ain't get to the story, but still, I just know that they out on the street. A lady just shot and killed this pastor, regardless of what this pastor. She came back and followed him with a gun and shot him. Okay, but she gets to walk out on bail. She never had any priors before. She never had any arrests before, or anything else like that. But that pastor, whatever he was doing, still she ain't had no right to get no gun, go into a car and come blowing and killing somebody. Now I could see if he had a gun turned out on her, she had to do what she had to do in self-defense, or if he, you know what I'm saying. And even that, just to come and take somebody's life like that, regardless of whatever the argument was or whatever this whatever this dispute was, until it got to that point where she said, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it might be some other stuff going on that they just didn't tell us yet. Okay? But I'm just saying, they out on the street. Okay, she's free. So is other people, like the two guys that killed that baby. That 5 year old out there in where they from in what's that, in Tennessee somewhere, I think, in Memphis or somewhere in no, Memphis was where that pastor died. But this happened. Oh God, I wish somebody could put it in the chat. You could just put it in the chat of where they were, um, where this happened at. You know, but anyway, they out on the street. The men, the people that took that young girl Shanquilla Robinson, beat the living hell out of her, beat her, beat her dead, but they still running around free with their freedom, and could be a threat to society, to the public, a danger to the public. But you let these murderers, that you have all the evidence that they killed somebody, out back on the street. But then again, y'all sitting up there talking about how you want us to be safe in this country. We got terrorism going on in neighborhoods. We got terrorism up there in the Hollywood industry. The terrorism that's going on there in the music industry. The terrorism of what they trying to do to Diddy kids now, turn his kids to turn against him, like they did R. Kelly. Now they trying to go run for Jay-Z. The dirty, evil, these wicked things that Clyde Davis actually programmed and put um into their minion, you could say minions or whatever you want to call them. These people that they got following behind, like they got to get their job. They got them on assignments to do certain things for certain celebrities. And I'm gonna tell you like this: the reason I say R. Kelly pure and innocent out of all of this, because even though you might have seen videos with R. Kelly, Jay-Z, Titty, all that, it was set up like this from the beginning, y'all. Because they know R. Kelly enjoys being funny, laughing and joking. He loves to hang out and have a little fun and play basketball, or do some music. Let's hear some beats. Let's listen to some music down in the studio. Let's talk about women like most men do. Yeah, that this that the other. And then some girls or whatever might be hanging around the studio and things of that nature, partying and having fun with them and stuff. And they say, "Yo, Carls, won't you come on and hang out with her?" Nah, man, I got to work on this new song and all this. You see, that's the kind of Carls not tell you. I'm telling you, there's people who said this man will not come out of his studio. He will be locked in there for days. He ain't taking no phone calls. That's just who he is, because he just want to be. That's his music, his therapy, and everything else. That's how he gets through his word, his Bible, and therapy with the music. Okay. So them trying to say R. Kelly was a part of this stuff, no, he's not, and I know that from God telling me that. Because I could tell when a man, I could tell who's not walking righteous. I could tell if he's been all into nasty, dirty, real grimy. But see, they put him in prison so that he can become one of them. But see, God got R. Kelly all protected around that prison, whether they know it or not, even though he might not be getting no money from here and there and there and there and there. But I'm sure some of them brothers up in that hood, up in that prison, that know that brother's on locked up like this. Because don't people in jail like this and smart. They smart. They know these privatized prisons is built for to put our men in chains and control and leave us. We all know the game now. You know, it's been 400 years, y'all. We ain't in change no more. But see, the change only come if you sit in your mind listening to this garbage that people putting on the internet. But you gotta go through it like a camel going through an eye of a needle to stay in this fight for righteousness. You can't be broad. You can't. You can't. You can't be saying R. Kelly snitch. You a real fan. You ain't gonna tell him to do none of that. Because that's how the devil is setting it up. Snitch R. Kelly and you get your freedom. R. Kelly ain't gotta do none of that. None of that. If he have to take those 30 years to serve the Lord and to be faithful to the Lord, not to do any harm to any man, he can express the way he feeling, but he will not try to hurt you, harm you. He's just telling them, show me love. Show me some respect. I gave y'all da ba ba, but y'all could send me some money and some help me out sometime. And then I wrote you all these hits. I can't get to my money, the residues and everything. And then all of this, the bogus shit. They've been suing that man since that man stepped in. Before that man even, just how much R. Kelly is worth. Well, see, R. Kelly don't need all that because he got the real deal. He got real love out here. From his fans, he even if they let him go, he will have a play. Oh, he's homeless. He ain't got a play. They know R. Kelly gonna get so much help from the community. They know that. So they rather keep him in there so they could keep, eating up his money. Because they know if that man come from behind them bars. And just like Checker's gonna say in this video, sometimes people's lives are more to them dead than that's how the devil lives. He lives off of the dead. Blood money. Like Judas. Blood money. But what happened to Judas? He ended up killing himself. Snitch on this one, R. Kelly. Snitch on Diddy. You could remember with Jay. That happened so damn long ago about that Best of Both World tour shit. They got they shit. They both got they both got they got it. And I don't think Jay-Z is even thinking it. All the other shit that had happened in those 30 years after they beef, I don't think Jay-Z is fucked up about that shit no more. Okay? I don't think so. But people going to put some shit in there and say it is, but I don't think so. I don't think Jay-Z fucked up about that no more, that he want to see R. Kelly off like that. No. They had their fight on the tour, and Jay-Z his boy sprayed Mason R. Kelly's eyes. Because you put two egos, and that's what they try to do. They know Jay-Z got an ego and R. Kelly ain't backing down. R. Kelly gonna fight. He was raised with two brothers and he had to fight them damn streets in Chicago. And I'm sure he know how to box. Okay? Now today they so punkish, all they want to do is put up a what do you call it again? Today they just want to get somebody and put them out, get a gun and shoot them and kill them and do all this other shit to them. But anyway, the sacrifice already been made, y'all. I'm just going to say. Angie Stone was the sacrifice. That was the sacrifice of the lamb's blood to be spilled, the innocent blood of Angela Stone. Because all the sick shit she had to deal with through that industry and what they did to her. That she was fighting these people for her money to get out of this industry and just retire and just go on by her life and have a normal life with her family. And then her Angelo, well, I don't know. I really don't know what was been going on with him. Since him and Angie, everything was surrounded around their life. It wasn't about the music or anything. People was and like Angie said, people just enjoy the music. Don't try to get all in my business about what went on between me and Angelo. I could just tell you I did love him. You know what I'm saying? But because of the significance and the age, and people were in his ear, and doing this and doing that in the industry or whatever, is the reason why we didn't go strong and survive through our relationship is because of that, even though I was older, but I was still there, you know, helping him win. It happened. I'm sure there was probably some love with R. Kelly and his wife too in the beginning, but until they got into her ear and they did the shit that they did to her and they manipulated her and told her to turn her man up and didn't do all of this other and participate in this, that, and the other, or this is going to happen to him, or this is going to happen to the children, or whatever. You don't know. These people are wicked. These people from this industry, how they destroy lives, how they destroy families. They have no love, agape love. When I say agape, I mean real, true love, unconditionally. They cold-hearted devils. We saw more movies, they put you in there before they kill you. They smiling up in your face. They up there giving you, and some of them they just give like what they happened in The Godfather when The Godfather, he had to kill his brother. He had to keep him quiet, or he had to take, like his brother had to go down with the rest of the people that was supposed to have been part of setting up the setup of first his brother Sonny getting killed. Of course, we know that happened because of the brother-in-law, because the brother-in-law got tired of him, beat his ass out in the street, and threw him out in the gutter. So he never got over that. And then, of course, Michael was still had vengeance for what happened with the father. He came back with his heart, you know, still dark and evil from what happened. What they found him in Italy. Of course, they blew up his wife, killed his wife, his first wife in Italy. Not Italy. I'm sorry. Over there in oh my God, what's the other one? Sicily, wherever he was in Sicily. He wasn't in Italy because his family lineage is from Sicily, not Italian. It looked like the Italians kicked the Sicilians. If you look at the map where Italy is, and from it looked like Italy more shaped like the boot, and then there's next to it is Sicily. So it looks like when you look at it, it looked like the Italians kicked the Sicilians out of Italy. They not a part of Italy. Well, anyway, but they both have similar cultures. Put it that way. So anyway, like I was saying, we saw that he came back to get vengeance on, of course, these people that was set it up to kill his father and to kill the family, and he wanted to be make sure that he keep his family protected and safe in the business of the olive oil. The Gambinis. I watched that movie so many times. I study that movie so well. How he's the Godfather, like all that power he sits up there with. He's able to put it down to the people, and the people will follow his orders. Like to be on the assignment to follow his orders. And some people that was in his family for a very, very long time that he actually had to get rid of. He couldn't trust nobody. He really only person even Tom, which was the family attorney and everything. They grew up together. His father sort of like adopted Tom into the family and stuff. He had a role as the attorney to the family, dealt with all their legal matters, their legal business or whatever like that. So yep. And he showed his loyalty and everything to the family, his gratitude to the family. But Michael had to silence. He had to get rid of everybody except for his sister, and I heard she was a real warrior. I mean, a real. I don't know. I ain't watch it all. Only seen part 1 and 2. I ain't do 3 too much. I ain't do. I said, this is done. You know what I'm saying? This is done for me. But as you study it through the Bible and everything, people that man that sit in power, even from the time David was in power, if he had to shut somebody, he had to kill somebody, or he had to order somebody to kill somebody, like he did to have that man's wife when he had to put what's his name wife again? Oh God, the guy that served so dedicated, Bathsheba, okay, husband. He was such a faithful man in the military of David's, and I mean he was really good to David and everything. And David took this man's wife, got her pregnant, and wanted to keep it secret, wanted to keep secrets. So he had to have order for this man, his servant, this guy in the military, to go into this real hot battle knowing he wasn't going to come out alive. Knowing he wasn't going to come out alive in this hot battle that David put him in, so he can die, so he can cover up his dirty deeds, you know? It happens when people are in power. They want to keep people silenced. They want to put people in the grave. They want to silence people. But see, Clyde Davis, they now looking at you. God already exposed you, who you are. You, Epstein, and Weinstein, or whatever. All three, what do they have in common? What ethnicity? What ethnicity? But they still sitting on top, right? And all the attorneys they hire kind of like got the names of them too. Been eating up black people money. Hiding behind being Jewish. Oh, that's another story in the Bible about that too. And I'm not trying to bring no hate, no anti. As soon as you say something about a Jew, everybody get it. No, these are not good Jews. No, these are not good people. They're not. Okay, so don't let that. Don't even get it, because there's a whole lot of them that are even killing them. Okay, and there's a whole, and Hitler, who was a Jew, just to prove that he hated his Jewish culture and his Jewish blood and his Jewish lineage, he committed genocide. Okay. So just because somebody comes from a group of a certain ethnicity doesn't, and so-called culture, whatever, don't think they all like each other. And God, like I said, gave everybody their own equal amount. And of course, I got to stand with my people, okay, in this battle. And I got to stand on the righteous side by standing with my people, okay? Just like those black people that's in Ohio been called police and everything for these people waving swatsas and Nazi stuff around their community, harassing and doing all of that stuff, protesting, whatever they doing, to the black people that lived in that community there's been decades and decades of people living there black, being good people, hard-working citizens, and they told for help, for, hey, get these people from protesting out here like this, and da-da-da. And guess what happened? Oh, it's no. Black people had to take a stand. They got like, no, y'all coming like that now. We don't did what we supposed to do, what is right, but y'all not trying to look out for us, so we got to look out for us. And that's exactly how I feel about what's going on right now with R. Kelly, P. Diddy, and Jay-Z. Even though Jay-Z and P. Diddy may deserve some of the punishment they should have. But let's keep it real. R. Kelly is not in all of this. He worked and collaborated music with these guys. That's all he had in common, was the music. And they may have got something on R. Kelly, because they did have to get something on R. Kelly when they got him in, and they wanted to make him a star, and they wanted to make him the man, and R. Kelly didn't really need them. Whether he knows, but at that time in his age, he didn't know that. None of them know that. Because they all got some great gifts that were given to them, not by man, and they don't own them. It's God. You are a slave under Christ, not a slave to no man, not a slave to them. Not a slave to them or to their idols. You a man. And that's why I say God is going to show up in the firing furnace. God already got his people out here, already see how you plotting, Satan, to what you trying to do to these three wealthy black men in entertainment, how you trying to take them down, how you trying to destroy them, how you trying to make us look like we are the sex traffickers. And there's a whole lot of politician names that are on that list. That's why the body's been going down. From the judges, I would say from the outhouse to the White House. Okay? Of the sex freaking trafficking. All those Diddy parties and all these supposedly, where did Diddy get all this money? He sure enough didn't get the money from us. We don't get down like that in the black community. We don't be trying to build no tunnels to put little girls in to have come out. I mean, they probably do, but you know, it's just from. It's not only just happening. I'm just saying, Diddy didn't build up Sony. Diddy didn't do that. He was somebody that was had a dream in his career of becoming a, you know, in the music industry. He had an interest in music in the music industry as a businessman in music, manager, being a manager or whatever like that, you could say. He finds scouting out talent, bringing it to the music industry, and getting people on his team to work with him and everything, so they could get these stars or these young people their careers, you know, to give them an advance in their career. And they give them this advance money. They buy gold chains to look the image that they want them to look. Yeah, we want to, you know, these are the kind of things that we're going to send you out there to go out and fish for us, to go out and catch for us. Bringing some more talented that Cassie shit. That shit was all set up. These models they bring in, they got a pornography thing going on. R. Kelly probably got caught in there. Of course, they probably gave him a drink. Or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And then they trying to say he had all of them. R. Kelly wouldn't even come out of that damn freaking studio. Some people said he was so damn weird. And I believe that. I believe he could be weird. You know what I'm saying? Of course, if you had the talent and the gift you get and all the pussy throwing at you all the time, pussy, 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 yeah, that stuff would drive. Of course, you'd be kind of weird. Like, I could get it any so easily, anytime. Why would I have to go out there and rape anybody? Why would I have to even rape a little, have coochie, you know, the sexual intercourse with any young teenage girl when there's so many grown ass women out here that's willing to give it up really quick? And even some young kid, little kitties want to give it up. But the thing is that men are going to be more attracted when they get older. They want somebody younger than them. And that's been through life. That do you have a problem with that? Take that with God. Take that to God. But it's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. And if Angie really knew the truth, why her and D'Angelo, that was way too significant for you. And she was still too older for him. And she like him young. That's okay. But he was still not on the same mentality. She said, well, he seemed more like a mature older man. That's what you want to say, and that's what you want to think. But we all know that D'Angelo couldn't reach her on her level of intelligence as a woman. It's bad enough they our age and they can't reach us on our level of intelligence sometimes. Men, I'm just saying. When it comes to certain things in life, women, we mature quicker. Cognitively, we mature quicker. And that's why a lot of men, it's not a control thing, but it's more like men don't want to feel like they married to their mother. There's men, real masculine men want to feel like they're needed. It wants to feel like a man. And would like for their woman and their children to respect them. Not that he's controlling them, but it's just, you know, don't do anything to get in the way to make me go crazy out here. You know, like make me flip out and get me in trouble. And big mouth women like you gonna go out there cussing and fighting with some man, and then I gotta come in and get into this with you. Embarrassing me out there in public. Or talking to my, you know, doing all this stuff around my kids. You know, like it's just something mentally between a man and a woman. The physical part, I mean, hey, you get that coochie kitty cat call, and like anyway, but it's just some things that some men they just feel like they want to feel needed. An older woman are always trying to tell a man what to do, how to do it, da 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 da, running his mouth, and da 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 da. When he didn't even ask you, you know what I'm saying? And they want to try to play his mouth. Where you going? Where you at? Who you with? Hey, you know, even young girls do it too. But if he says I'm here, she's easier to believe him because she's young. It is what it is. And most men that are, I would say, like, they don't like their wives to have too many, be too busy out there with too many other female friends. Because, females, they getting in your head. They telling your man doing this, they telling him doing that. Da, da, da. Some things you just don't want to hear. You see some things, but you just going to pray about it. You're going to duck and let God hit them. That's it. But back to what I'm saying about this monster here. I'm going to let the video play for a minute because I have to run and do something. And I'll be right back. Because it's long enough. You're going to find out some things. Let it roll.
Because he's a trafficker. And he's using
shout out to the person in the video. I think it's
traffic.
This is a celebrity glance.
Now, is this just
I don't know who the
girls, adults, kids? Like,
I mean,
from
what I've heard,
Celebrity Glance. Shout out to Celebrity Glance.
Sources that I would consider reliable. It really doesn't matter.
Shout out to Celebrity Glance. This is where I'm sharing this video from Celebrity Glance, and this woman, she gets on my nerves sometimes, but I'm gonna let it play. Let her share what she know, what she thinks she know, or what she think, or is she working. I don't know who she working for, but anyway, because she been knowing so much, she know all this stuff, this, that, the other stuff, and she's still alive and she's still breathing. So something ain't right.
Wow.
I don't think sexuality is something that has anything to do with gender at this point. I honestly think he's just an extreme narcissist who loves power. He loves the ability to manipulate and control people. Why? Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, who loved to control people.
And his mentor was
Andre Harrell.
Tell us how
he was mentored by Clive Davis.
And don't tell me that Andre Harrell got touched by Clive Davis too.
I'm telling you, I don't know what happened between Andre and Clive. What I do know is that Andre got passed over. Like, how do you go from being the president of Uptown and losing your entire company to your intern?
But he got a boss too, and his boss name is Clive Davis. Clive run him. Diddy don't run himself.
Okay, buckle up because this tea is scalding hot. You know how they say the music industry has more secrets than a confessional booth? Well, this story about Clive Davis and Barry White is about to prove that saying 100% true, and trust me, it's juicier than anyone could have imagined. So, everyone's always wondered why Clive Davis seemed to have this weird vendetta against Barry White, right? I mean, here's Barry, with that iconic voice that basically invented bedroom R&B, making hit after hit, and Clive's acting like he's public enemy number one. Well, turns out there was way more to this story than just music industry drama. We're talking about some serious skeletons in Clive's closet that Barry apparently knew all about. Word on the street is that Barry had gotten his hands on some tapes, and not the musical kind. We're talking about recordings that had Clive Davis sweating bullets in his designer suits. The kind of tapes that could make even the most powerful music executive lose sleep at night. And Barry? Well, let's just say he wasn't the type to keep quiet when he saw something wrong. The really wild part? This wasn't just about business disagreements or creative differences. No, this was about something so explosive that Clive was willing to do whatever it took to keep Barry White as far away from the industry spotlight as possible. Because sometimes the smoothest voice in R&B knows things that could shake the entire music industry to its core. And let me tell you, when you hear what was actually on those tapes, well, let's just say it makes all those other music industry scandals look like child's play. This is the story Clive Davis never wanted you to hear, and now we finally know why. Let's talk about the dark side of the music industry in the 70s, because this story about Barry White and Clive Davis, it's wild, y'all. Barry White, this absolute unit of talent, walked into the music scene like he owns it. And honestly, he kinda did. But here's where things get spicy. Unlike other artists who were desperate for fame, Barry wasn't about to play the industry's twisted games, especially not with Clive Davis, who was basically the final boss of the music world back then. Now let's get real for a second. There were some nasty rumors floating around about Clive Davis at the time. We're talking about casting couch vibes, but make it worse, way worse. And Barry, he was out here trying to warn everybody about what was really going down behind those fancy office doors. But you know how it goes. Nobody wants to listen until it's too late. The really creepy part, artists under Clive's label had this weird habit of, not staying alive. It was giving major suspicious vibes, kind of like what people are saying about Diddy nowadays. But Barry White, this man said, "Not today, Satan," and did something absolutely revolutionary for a black artist in those days. He started his own label.
Has it, allegedly, Diddy got on his knees for Clive Davis in 1994, and that's how Bad Boy Records came about.
My man was out here collecting wins like Pokemon cards, writing hits, producing bangers, acting in movies, and basically showing everyone how it's done. 2 Grammy Awards later, Barry was living his best life, keeping his soul and everything else intact. But just when everything was looking perfect, well, that's when things got really interesting. And by interesting, I mean terrifying. Because of success in the music industry, sometimes it comes with a price tag that's way too high. Barry White's early life was marked by tragedy and hardship, long before his voice would become synonymous with soul music. Born in Texas in 1944, his family's story was complicated from the start. His mother, Sadie Marie Carter, discovered that Barry's father, Melvin White, was already married, a revelation that would shape young Barry's identity. In a decisive moment that spoke to his character, Barry chose to embrace his father's surname, legally changing his name from Carter.
What I want to stop and say here is about Barry White is that I love me some Barry White. I loved his voice. He had such the most sexiest, smoothest voice. And of course, I was a little girl listening to Barry White, but I still had a liked listening to the music. As a child, I would not go and sleep with Barry White, get on Barry White's lap and do all that. No, 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 no. I didn't have that kind of interest in Barry White or any of these men, not even R. Kelly is different. But anyway, I'm going to be truthfully honest. I, like every other woman that loves R. Kelly, had they little, at some time, they had wanted R. Kelly in that romantic type of way. But then there's some of us who fell in love with his music and love him as and just love who Robert really is. And we could hear it in his music. We know he could be probably a freak in the bedroom, but we also know that he could be very like good to a woman, know how to talk to your heart, know how to make you feel safe and make you feel loved and everything else and appreciate it. So there's two, there's every man has his demons. And don't get me wrong, this is why we saying like you're sitting up here calling him out his name and everything, but you never could tell what you're gonna do, how you're gonna do it until you're in it. That's all until you're in it. But anyway, let's go on. But I did enjoy a lot of Barry White, listening to Barry White, and I still listen to Barry White. He's not dead as far as with me spiritually, but he's physically not here with us anymore. And my mother was a Barry White. My mother loved her Barry White. And I never forget the day we went to go bury my mom with my dad at the cemetery after the funeral. They was having a versus battle on the radio station in New York. I think it was at the time, it was either 98.7 KISS. They was having this versus battle going on. And that particular day, the versus battles was with Barry White and Marvin Gaye. And I was like, that's when I knew my parents were both connected together in heaven, because my mom and my dad was both being laid. My mom was being laid to the rest right next to my father. So it touched down on me. And it felt like my parents were telling their children at the time, as we would listen and riding in that hearse, not the hearse, but in that limo, as we was taking my mother through the neighborhood as we was growing up in my parents' life together. In Brooklyn, went through, oh my God, I don't know how many neighborhoods in Brooklyn, all the way out to Long Island to the cemetery. Me, my brothers and sisters, and us sitting there, we looked at each other. We was listening to that versus battle, and they played that Marvin Gaye song. We said, "There go Daddy. He's talking to us from the heavens." Because that Marvin Gaye album, What's Happening, was actually my father's favorite. That was his gospel album to us. But anyway, let's go on.
To White, the streets of South Central Los Angeles became Barry's classroom, but these weren't easy lessons. Together with his younger brother Daryl, Barry found himself caught in the cycle of street life and petty crime. The severity of their situation became clear when Daryl was incarcerated at just 8 years old, a stark illustration of the environment they were growing up in. The bond between the White brothers was unshakable, but their paths would diverge tragically. While Barry would eventually find his way to music, Daryl's life was cut short in what some say was gang violence, though others maintain it was over a trivial $20 dispute with a neighbor. In his autobiography, Love Unlimited: Insights on Life and Love, Barry wrote poignantly about their relationship. No one could understand the bond between me and my...
And you think by killing these people, by killing these celebrities, because they got dirt on you, secrets about you that you don't want to get out, and you think by trying to hurt their lives and destroy them on the physical earth, you can't destroy them in heaven. And that's where they at. And that's where their spirits are coming down now, speaking to the ones who are being under attack. They're protecting them. They're protecting them. That's why this information is getting out. Because those are the people that they took out, the lives that they think that are in the grave, and they still walking around among this earth, good spirits, and showing people and telling their story about who is the perpetrator, who is the one who's the responsible for their death.
Brother, I struggled to understand the forces that drove his soul in one direction and mine to another. Even after this devastating loss, Barry's path to redemption wasn't immediate. At 16, he was arrested for stealing Cadillac tires, resulting in a 4-month jail sentence. This brush with the law would prove to be a turning point, though the road ahead would be far from smooth. Music would eventually become his salvation, but not before he faced more challenges that would test his resolve. The turning point in Barry White's life came from an unexpected source: Elvis Presley's "It's Now or Never," playing through a jail radio. Sitting in his cell, serving time for stealing those Cadillac tires, Barry experienced what he would later describe as a profound awakening. The music spoke to him in a way that would alter the course of his life forever.
Greed is a funny thing. Once you take a bite of it, it tends to turn on you and start eating you up. The industry was making enough money. The industry was growing fast enough. The industry was progressing enough.
In later interviews, Barry would reflect on this period with remarkable candor. "When I turned 17, I looked around and saw nothing but depression," he recalled. "People just go around in circles." The streets that had once seemed like his only option now appeared as a dead end, and he knew he had to make a choice: change or spiral downward. His 18th birthday proved equally pivotal. Instead of attending his final year of high school, Barry made a decision that seemed strange at the time, but would prove prophetic. He walked to Capitol Records in Hollywood and simply stood there, staring at the building for hours. It was as if he was willing his future into existence. What makes Barry's musical journey particularly remarkable is that he never formally learned to read or write music. His early musical education came from his mother's classical records and a piano she had bought him. He would sit for hours, teaching himself to play by ear, replicating the complex classical pieces he heard at home. A persistent rumor from this period claimed that Barry was the uncredited pianist on Jesse Belvin's "Good Night, My Love," a story that gained traction because they lived in the same neighborhood. But perhaps the most significant development in Barry's teenage years was the emergence of his distinctive voice. As he would later explain, "As a child, I had a normal squeaky voice. Then at 13, everything changed, giving him the deep, resonant tone that would become his trademark." The transformation of Barry White's voice became almost mythical in his household. When that deep...
I'm sorry, y'all, that somebody's at my door. You know, this is crazy. This is really crazy, but I'm going to play because people should know I'm home anyway, because at this time of the day, I'm at work. Anyway, let's go.
Ace emerged. It wasn't just a voice changing. It was a moment that moved his mother to tears, marking her son's transition into manhood. By 14, his voice had developed into something that startled even himself. "I woke up one morning, spoke to my mother, and scared both of us," he would later recall, a story that perfectly captured the dramatic nature of his vocal evolution. After his brush with the law, including a near-miss charge that he was later cleared of, 1960 marked White's entry into the music industry proper. But unlike many artists who simply performed, Barry was crafting a much broader musical legacy. He cut his teeth working with small Los Angeles labels, releasing Too Far to Turn Around and collaborating with groups like the Atlantics and the Majestics. His musical DNA was shaped by giants like James Cleveland, Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, and Marvin Gaye. Though like Gaye, he too carried the weight of a complicated relationship with his father. By 1965, White was already showing his prowess as a producer, crafting hits like Feel All Right for the Ben Cantos on Downey Records, followed by Man Ain't Nothing and I Don't Need It the next year. His breakthrough moment came in 1967 when he discovered Felice Taylor producing I Feel Love Coming On a track that exploded in the UK market. This success led to his signing with Forward Records of Los Angeles in 1969, but perhaps his most significant move came 3 years later when he formed Love Unlimited, his own girl group that drew comparisons to Motown's The Supremes. This wasn't just about creating music, it was about building an empire, much like what Berry Gordy had done with Motown Records, which had launched the careers of legends like Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, Marvin Gaye, and Smokey Robinson. What set White apart wasn't just his voice or his production skills. It was his understanding that true success in the music industry meant being more than just a performer. While others were content to sing for their supper, Barry was cooking up a feast of his own making. By the early 70s, Barry White wasn't just following the music industry playbook, he was writing his own chapters. While Motown was breaking down racial barriers and bringing black music to mainstream America, White was orchestrating his own musical revolution, quite literally, with the creation of the Love Unlimited Orchestra in 1973. There was a 40-piece orchestra that started as a backing band for his girl group, but quickly became something much bigger. When Love's theme hit the airwaves, it wasn't just another song. It was a groundbreaking instrumental that shot straight to #1 on the Billboard pop charts, proving that White's vision extended far beyond conventional R&B boundaries. The story of how Barry became a solo artist is almost comical. Here he was, preparing demos for some unnamed male singer, when Nunes heard them and basically said, "Man, these are your songs." White initially fought against the idea. Imagine that. The man with the iconic voice didn't want to sing. But after days of back and forth, he finally stepped behind the microphone, and music history was made. His first solo hit, I'm Gonna Love You Just a Little More Baby, dominated both the R&B and pop charts, staying in the top 40 for weeks. But White wasn't content just being a successful artist. He wanted more control over his destiny. In 1979, after 6 successful years with 20th Century, he made the bold move to launch Unlimited Gold under CBS Columbia Records. When asked about surviving in an industry where many black-owned companies were struggling with piracy and bootlegging, White's perspective was refreshingly candid. He faced the same challenges as everyone else. The nightmare of illegal taping and bootlegging wasn't discriminating based on race or company size. But White's approach to these challenges would prove to be as unique as his voice.
This is a very interesting video. I didn't know it was going to be this long. I didn't watch the whole video. I wanted to watch the video with my platform over here and listen to it so I can speak on it on my own, give my own opinion or whatever like that. Because when you do a video and you want to say something in the chat area, you rather just like, hey, I'm going to do it on my platform. Like this is how I feel about the whole thing. Back to the video.
The music industry has always been a roller coaster, and no one knew this better than Barry White. Despite having one of the most devoted fan bases in R&B history, even he wasn't immune to the shifting tides of popular music.
And that's me saying copyright, that I don't own the rights to this video. I don't own the rights to any of this. This is for entertainment, research purposes only. That's what it's for. And not even entertainment. It's really for research purposes. I'm going to say research. This is doing my research on what's been going on in this music industry and how it all began and who is the top dogs that's behind pulling the strings, who are the master puppets, the mastermind behind all of this mess.
When disco's glitter balls stopped spinning, White found himself facing a new reality. His pop chart dominance began to fade, though his core fans never wavered. The early 80s proved challenging. Despite releasing several albums, the massive success of his earlier work seemed just out of reach. His record label venture, while ambitious, was draining his resources, forcing him to return to the road, the tried and true survival strategy of many music legends. Sometimes you have to take a step back to move forward, and that's exactly what White did when he folded his label to focus on touring. But 1991 marked the beginning of what many call Barry's renaissance. Put Me in Your Mix announced his return to the charts, kicking off a remarkable comeback streak. Each new release seemed to outperform the last, culminating in 1994's The Icon Is Love, an album that topped the Billboard R&B charts and gave White his first R&B #1 single in 2 decades, with Practice What You Preach. The Grammy nomination for Best R&B Album was just icing on the cake. His collaboration with Tina Turner on In Your Wildest Dreams showed he could still surprise audiences, but it was his final album in 1999 that would cement his legacy. Staying Power wasn't just a title, it was a statement, earning him 2 Grammy Awards for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance and Best Traditional R&B Vocal Performance. Between all this, White even found time to show his lighter side, appearing as a bus driver in a 1995 Prodigy commercial, proving that the man with the deepest voice in R&B could also make people smile. It was this versatility, this ability to adapt while staying true to himself, that made Barry White more than just a singer. He was an icon who understood that staying power meant knowing when to evolve and when to hold firm. Behind the glitter and glamour of the music industry lurked darker truths, and Barry White tried his best to sound the alarm. When Luther Vandross signed with Clive Davis in 1981, White saw the writing on the wall. He understood the unspoken costs of success in the industry, particularly under Davis's wing, where rumors about his preferences for male artists had long circulated in industry circles.
But you know that in 3 days you have to do this major thing. It doesn't really allow you to rest.
Okay, everyone, I am getting out of here. My battery is going low, so my phone needs to be charged, but we will pick up on this some other time, probably later on. I don't know, something else might come up, because there's a whole lot of stuff I want to talk about, and not just only around what's going on with the R&B world. I wanted to talk about Monique and her apology. I wanted to hit on that with Tyler Perry. I also wanted to talk about, give my opinion about that, you know, whether I feel that it was the right time or the wrong time, but I think it was the right time with Monique. If that's the time or space that she had to do it, that's what she did. And that's how I felt about that, because there's a whole lot of shady stuff behind Tyler Perry, as well. And like I said, Jamal Bryant was sitting up in the front at Angie Stone's funeral. And I believe that one was in Atlanta, because she had quite a few services other places. And one, they showing her in a white casket, and then it was a silver casket. So which one it is, I don't know. Which one her body was in, I don't know. But anyway, y'all, I got to go, and I'll get back with you later. Have a blessed and wonderful day. And please hit the like button on your way in or on your way